DC Universe animated original movies are direct-to-video film projects being created by Warner Premiere, Warner Brothers Animation, and DC Comics. With the help of producers like Bruce Timm, who helped create the DC animated universe, and Andrea Romano, who worked as the voice director, now currently working on most of the movie projects. They've also included many of the voice actors who worked on the DCAU to return as the same characters like before on some of the films. Unlike the DC animated universe, which was aimed at mostly younger viewers, these line of movies are aimed at a more adult audience. They feature some mild language, bloody violence and other adult themes, showing the same kind of mature rated print and viewing from modern-day DC Comics graphic novels and comic issues. Currently, 20 feature-length films have been released with additional films slated for release. The first film was released in 2007 and in each year since 2 to 3 have been released. Additionally, 5 short films have been released. They are either rated PG-13 or PG. Most of these films have had self-contained storylines, but starting with the 2014 release of Justice League, War, 2 of 3 films released per year will be interconnected. Released projects: Superman, Doomsday. The first of these projects was Superman, Doomsday, which was loosely based on the popular 1992-1993 storyline The Death of Superman, where Superman fights Doomsday in a duel to the death. It was released on September 21, 2007. The film features the voice talents of Adam Baldwin as Superman, Anne Heck as Lois Lane, Adam Wiley as Jimmy Olsen, Ray Wise as Perry White, Swoosie Kurtz as Martha Kent, James Masters as Lex Luthor, Cree Summer as Mercy Graves, John DiMaggio as Toyman, Tom Kenny as the robot that works at the Fortress of Solitude, and a voice cameo by Kevin Smith as a grumpy man. The film received generally mixed to positive reviews. Justice League: The New Frontier. Justice League: The New Frontier was based on Darwin Cook's 2003-2004 comic book limited series DC, The New Frontier, where the heroes of Earth unite to take on an evil entity called the Center. It was released on February 26, 2008. The film features the voice talents of David Boreanaz as Hal Jordan Green Lantern, Kyle MacLachlan as Superman, Lucy Lawless as Wonder Woman, Neil Patrick Harris as Barry Allen Flash, Jeremy Sisto as Batman, Miguel Ferrer as Martian Manhunter, Brooke Shields as Carol Ferris, Phil Morris as King Faraday, Kira Sedgwick as Lois Lane, Vicki Lewis as Iris West, John Hurt as Carl Morgan, Alan Ritchson as Aquaman, and Keith David as the Center. Also, Joe Lasky briefly voices Bugs Bunny in one scene where Martian Manhunter was taking on different shapes when watching television. Batman: Gotham Knight. Tying into the release of the 2008 Batman film The Dark Knight, Batman: Gotham Knight is an anthology film that tells a series of stories that take place between 2005's Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, though it is not officially considered to be part of Christopher Nolan's Batman film series. The film was the first to feature Batman using authentic Japanese anime from 4 different Japanese animation studios. Notable comic talents such as Brian Azzarello, David Esquer, and Greg Rucka contributed stories. It was released on July 8, 2008. Veteran Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy returned once again to play Batman with the voice talents of Jim Meskimen as Lieutenant Gordon and Deadshot, Gary Dourdan as Crispus Allen, Ana Ortiz as Ana Ramirez, David McCallum as Alfred Pennyworth, Parminder Negra as Cassandra, Rob Paulson as Sal Maroni, Corey Burton as Scarecrow, Kevin Michael Richardson as Lucius Fox, Jason Marsden as Thomas Wayne, Andrea Romano as Martha Wayne, and George Newbern as the Man in Black that Batman fights in the first story. Wonder Woman. The solo Wonder Woman film dealt primarily with the origin story of Diana of Themyscira and how she became the recognizable superheroine Wonder Woman. Much of the structure of the origin story was borrowed from George Parr copyright Res's post-Crisis on Infinite Earths Comics 1987 relaunch entitled Gods and Mortals. Before screenwriter Michael Jelnick was brought on board for rewrites, the original script was written by former monthly Wonder Woman scribe Gail Simone. It was released on March 3, 2009. The film features the voice talents of Kerry Russell as Wonder Woman, Nathan Fillion as Steve Trevor, Virginia Madsen as Queen Hippolyta, Alfred Molina as Ares, Oliver Platt as Hades, Vicki Lewis as Persephone, Jason C. Miller as Thrax, John DiMaggio as Deimos, Rosario Dawson as Artemis, David McCallum as Zeus, Mark Helgenberger as Hera, and Rick Overton as the President. It was also received positively. Green Lantern, First Flight. Lauren Montgomery returned from Wonder Woman to direct Green Lantern, First Flight. According to Montgomery, ETA unregistered trademark SA cop thriller set in outer space, with very little time spent on Earth. ETA unregistered trademark SA training day sort of story where the veteran space cop meets the rookie space cop, but because the veteran has been around the block unregistered trademark, it may have skewed his perspective a bit. The film focuses on Hal Jordan and his relationship with veteran Green Lantern Sinestro, and their relationship as pupil and teacher, until Sinestro betrays the Green Lantern Corps. It was released on July 28, 2009. The film features the voice talents of Christopher Meloni as Hal Jordan, Victor Garber as Sinestro, Olivia Dabo as Carol Ferris, Kurtwood Smith as Kanjaru, Michael Madsen as Kilowog, Tricia Helfer as Boudica, David Lander as CHP, William Shalett as Appa Ali Apsa, Larry Drake as Gauntlet, Malachi Throne as Ranikar, Kath Soucie as Arizia Arab, and John Larroquette as Tomari. Like its predecessors, the animated film also had a positive reception. Superman Batman, Public Enemies. Superman Batman, Public Enemies is based on the first story arc, The World's Finest, from the Superman Batman monthly comic book title from 2003-2004 by Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. President Lex Luthor uses the oncoming trajectory of a Kryptonite asteroid to frame Superman for the pending destruction of the planet, and declares a $1 billion bounty on the heads of the Man of Steel and his partner in crime, Batman. Superheroes and supervillains alike launch a relentless pursuit of Superman and Batman, who must unite to stave off the action-packed onslaught, stop the asteroid, and uncover Luthor unregistered trademark's devious plot. It was released on September 29, 2009. A significant feature has Tim Daly, Kevin Conroy, Clancy Brown, and CCH Pounder reprising their roles of Superman, Batman, Lex Luthor, and Amanda Waller from Batman, the Animated Series, Superman, the Animated Series, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. A film also features the voice talents of Xander Berkeley as Captain Atom, LeVar Burton as Black Lightning, Allison Mack as Power Girl, Ricardo Chavira as Major Force, a credit-only Jennifer Hale as Starfire, an uncredited Michael Goff as Hawkman, Corey Burton as Captain Marvel, John C. McGinney as Metallo, and Calvin Tran as the Japanese Toyman. It was also received positively. Justice League, Crisis on Two Earths. Loosely based on Grant Morrison's 2000 comic book JLA, Earth 2, Justice League, Crisis on Two Earths dealt with a heroic Lex Luthor from an alternate universe appearing to recruit the Justice League to help save his Earth from the crime syndicate, a gang of villainous characters who are essentially evil versions of the Justice League. What ensues is the ultimate battle of good versus evil in a war that threatens both planets and, through a devious plan launched by OWLMAN, puts the balance of all existence in peril. The film was originally brought up as a possible return to the Justice League Unlimited animated series with the title Justice League, Worlds Collide. However, when that series ended, the idea was modified into Justice League, Crisis on Two Earths by mostly retaining the same plot, but removing connections to the TV series. It was released on February 23, 2010. The film features the voice talents of Mark Harmon as Superman, William Baldwin as Batman, Vanessa Marshall as Wonder Woman, Josh Keaton as Flash, Nolan North as Green Lantern and Power Ring, Jonathan Adams as Martian Manhunter, Brian Bloom as Ultraman, Gina Torres as Superwoman, James Woods as OWLMAN, James Patrick Stewart as Johnny Quick, Chris Noth as the heroic Lex Luthor, and Bruce Davison as President Slade Wilson. Batman, Under the Red Hood. Batman, Under the Red Hood was written by comic book scribe Judd Winnick. This was an adaptation of Winnick's story Under the Hood from 2005 in the main Batman title, featured in issues number 635-641. It was released on July 27, 2010. The film features the voice talents of Bruce Greenwood as Batman, Jensen Ackles as Red Hood, Jason Todd, Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing, John DiMaggio as Joker, Wade Williams as Black Mask, Jason Isaacs as Ra's al Ghul, Kelly Hu as Ms. Lee, and Jim Piddock as Alfred Pennyworth. Superman Batman, Apocalypse. Superman Batman, Apocalypse, a sequel in the Superman Batman series, was confirmed for 2010 after the positive sales of Superman Batman, Public Enemies. Superman Batman, Apocalypse is based on the second story arc, The Supergirl from Krypton, from the Superman Batman monthly comic book title from 2004 by Jeff Loeb and Michael Turner. It was released on September 28, 2010. A significant feature has Tim Daly, Kevin Conroy, Susan Eisenberg, and Edward Arsenault reprising their roles of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Granny Goodness from Batman, the Animated Series, Superman, the Animated Series, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. A film also features the voice talents of Andre Braugher as Darkseid, Summer Glau as Supergirl, Julianne Grossman as Big Barda, Rachel Quintanz as Lila and Artemis, Andrea Romano as Stomper, Tara Strong as Lashina, and Sally Safiatai as Gillatina and Mad Harriet. All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is an adaptation of Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely's 2005-2008 comic book All-Star Superman. It was written by writer Dwayne McDuffie and directed by Sam Liu. It was released on February 22, 2011. The film features the voice talents of James Denton as Superman, Christina Hendricks as Lois Lane, Anthony LaPaglia as Lex Luthor, Edward Arsenault as Perry White, Oba Babatunda copyright as a judge, Stephen Bloom as Atlas, John DiMaggio as Samson, Linda Cardellini as Nasthalthia Nasty Luthor, Frances Conroy as Martha Kent, Alexis Denisov as Dr. Leo Quintum, Michael Goff as Parasite, Matthew Gray Gubler as Jimmy Olsen, Vanola Hughes as Lilo, Kevin Michael Richardson as Steve Lombard, and Arnold Voulou as Bar-El. Green Lantern, Emerald Knights. Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, similar to Batman, Gotham Knight, is an anthology film that tells a series of stories featuring various members of the Green Lantern Corps, including Ben-Sur, Sinestro, Kilowog, and Mogo. It was released on June 7, 2011. While not a direct sequel to First Flight, the film uses the same character designs and includes a cameo by CHP, who had a speaking role in the previous film. The film features the voice talents of Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan, Elizabeth Moss as Arizia Arab, Jason Isaacs as Sinestro, Kelly Hu as Lara, Henry Rollins as Kilowog, Roddy Piper as Bolfinger, Arnold Voulou as Ben-Sur, Wade Williams as Deegan, Peter Jessop as Silorg, Bruce Thomas as Atrocitus, and radio commentator Michael Jackson as Gauntlet. Batman, Year One. The film is an adaptation of Frank Miller's story Batman, Year One from 1987 in the main Batman title, featured in issues number 404-407. It is co-directed by Sam Liu and Lauren Montgomery. It was released on October 18, 2011, the same day as Batman, Arkham City. The film features the voice talents of Benjamin McKenzie as Batman, Bryan Cranston as Lieutenant James Gordon, Eliza Dushku as Selina Kyle Catwoman, John Polito as Gillian B. Loeb, Katie Sackhoff as Detective Sarah Essen, Alex Rocco as Carmine Falcone, Fred Tatasciore as Detective Arnold Flass, Liliana Mumi as Holly Robinson, and Jeff Bennett reprising his role as Alfred Pennyworth from Young Justice. Justice League, Doom. Justice League, Doom is a loose adaptation of Mark Waid's JLA story arc, JLA, Tower of Babel, wherein the Legion of Doom is formed to eliminate the Justice League using protocols created by Batman to take down the group should its members ever go rogue. The movie was adapted and written by Dwayne McDuffie shortly before his death in February 2011, and is directed by Lauren Montgomery. It was released on February 28, 2012. The film was dedicated in memory of McDuffie. The film features various actors reprising their roles from Batman, the animated series, Superman, the animated series, Justice League Unlimited and Green Lantern, Emerald Knights respectively, including Kevin Conroy as Batman, Tim Daly as Superman, Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, Michael Rosenbaum as The Flash, Carl Lumbly as Martian Manhunter and Malefake, Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan/Green Lantern, Phil Morris as Vandal Savage, Olivia Dabo as Star Sapphire, Alexis Denisov as Mirror Master, and David Kaufman as Jimmy Olsen, with the voice talents of Bumper Robinson as Cyborg, Carlos Alazraqui as Bane, Paul Blackthorne as Metrolo, Claudia Black as Cheetah, Grey DeLisle as Lois Lane, and Robin Atkin Downes as Alfred Pennyworth. Superman vs. The Elite. On July 22, 2011, during a Comic-Con screening of Batman, Year One, DC announced their 2012 slate of movies. Superman vs. The Elite is the second 2012 release and is based on What's So Funny About Truth, Justice in the American Way. The film features George Newbern reprising his role as Superman from Justice League Unlimited, The Batman, and Superman Shazam. The return of Black Adam. While David Kaufman reprises his role as Jimmy Olsen, it features the voice talents of Pauley Perrette as Lois Lane, Robin Atkin Downes as Manchester Black, Marcella Lentz Pope as Vera Black, Frederick Tatasciore as Perry White, Ketura Colbert as Coldcast, Melissa Disney as Menagerie, Andrew Kishino as Hat, and Tara Strong as young Vera Black. The film was directed by Michael Chang and written by Joe Kelly. Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1. On April 14, 2011, it was revealed that a two-part animated adaptation of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns was in the works. Several previous Batman veterans were involved. The film featured the voice talents of Peter Weller as Batman, Ariel Winter as Carrie Kelly, Wade Williams as Two-Face, Michael McKean as Dr. Wolper, David Selby as Commissioner Gordon, and Gary Anthony Williams as the mutant leader. The film was directed by Man of Steel storyboarder Jay Oliver. Part 1 concentrated on Two-Face and mutant gang arcs of the graphic novel and was released on September 25, 2012. Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, Part 2. Part 2 concentrated on the Joker and Superman arcs of the graphic novel and was released on January 29, 2013. The film featured the voice talents of Peter Weller as Batman, Ariel Winter as Carrie Kelly, Michael Emerson as Joker, Mark Valley as Superman, Michael McKean as Dr. Wolper, and David Selby as Commissioner Gordon. Superman, Unbound. At the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con, actress Molly Quinn confirmed that she would be voicing Supergirl in an animated adaptation of the 2008 story arc Superman, Brainiac by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, stating that the film would be released in 2013. Matt Bomer voices Clark Kent Superman, along with Quinn's Castle co-star Stana Katic as Lois Lane and John Noble as Brainiac. Additional voices in the cast include Frances Conroy reprising her role as Martha Kent, Alexander Gould as Jimmy Olsen, Wade Williams as Perry White, Diedrich Bader as Steve Lombard, Michael Leon Woolley as Ron Troop, and Stephen Root as Zor-El. The film was released on Blu-ray on May 7, 2013. This was the first DC Universe animated original movie not to be produced by Bruce Timm. Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox. On April 26, 2012, DCAU Batman voice actor Kevin Conroy let it slip that he had just recorded his lines for the animated movie version of DC Universe changing Flashpoint. WBA confirmed the actor will be playing Bruce Wayne Batman in the non-Flashpoint era sections of the film. Along with Ron Perlman, Dana Delany, Vanessa Marshall, Nathan Fillion and Dee Bradley Baker reprising their roles as Deathstroke, Lois Lane, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern and Etrigan the Demon. The actors whose roles are announced include Justin Chambers as Barry Allen the Flash, C. Thomas Howell as Professor Zoom, Kevin McKidd as Thomas Wayne Batman, Michael B. Jordan as Cyborg, Cary Elwes as Aquaman, Tim Daly as Sam Daly as Superman, Danny Houston as General Sam Lane, Stephen Bloom as Lex Luthor, Lex Lang as Captain Atom, Jennifer Hale as Iris West, James Patrick Stewart as Steve Trevor and Danny Jacobs as Grifter. The film was released on July 30, 2013. Justice League, War. A new Justice League film titled Justice League, War, was announced as the next animated feature. The film was released on February 4, 2014. The film is based on Geoff Johns and Jim Lee's origins storyline. It features the voice talents of Jason O'Mara as Batman, Michelle Monaghan as Wonder Woman, Christopher Gorham as Flash, Alan Tudyk as Superman, Justin Kirk as Green Lantern, Shemar Moore as Cyborg, Sean Astin as Captain Marvel, Stephen Bloom as Darkseid, and Rocky Carroll as Dr. Silas Stone. This will be the first animated movie from the DC Universe based on the current continuity, The New 52. A mid-credits scene at the end of the movie alludes to a follow-up movie involving Atlantis. Son of Batman. On July 20, 2013, as part of the San Diego Comic-Con, DC Comics announced on Twitter a new animated feature, Son of Batman. The film is based on Grant Morrison's Batman and Son storyline. While Jason O'Mara reprises his role of Batman from Justice League, War and David McCallum reprises his role of Alfred Pennyworth from Batman, Gotham Knight, the rest of the voice cast consists of Stuart Allen as Damian Wayne, Marina Baccarin as Talia al Ghul, Giancarlo Esposito as Ra's al Ghul, Cassandra Berkeley as Kirk Langstrom, and Thomas Gibson as Deathstroke. The film was released on May 6, 2014. Upcoming projects: Batman, Assault on Arkham. On July 20, 2013, as part of the San Diego Comic-Con, DC Comics announced on Twitter a new animated feature, Batman, Assault on Arkham. The film will take place in the same universe as the Batman, Arkham video game franchise. Kevin Conroy will return to play Batman with the other voices including Troy Baker as Joker, Neil McDonough as Deadshot, Hynden Walk as Harley Quinn, Giancarlo Esposito as Black Spider and Matthew Gray Gubler as Riddler. Jay Oliver and Ethan Spalding will direct a script by Heath Carson, writer of Justice League, War. The film is set to release on August 12, 2014. Justice League, Throne of Atlantis, the back cover of Batman, Assault on Arkham reveals the next animated feature to be Justice League, Throne of Atlantis. The film will be based on the 2013 storyline of the same name, by Geoff Johns and Ivan Reis. DC Showcase. DC Showcase is a series of short films focusing on DC characters who normally are unable to have a feature unto themselves. They are released as a co-feature with the main DC Universe animated original movies. DC animation producer Alan Burnett has said that most shorts will be 10 minutes. All upcoming shorts are to be directed by Joaquim dos Santos. Expanded versions of the first 3 shorts were collected in a compilation titled DC Showcase Original Shorts Collection, which was released on November 9, 2010, along with a new 22-minute short titled Superman Shazam. The Return of Black Adam. DC Showcase, The Spectre, featuring The Spectre, is included with Justice League, Crisis on 2 Earths. The short features the voice talents of Gary Cole in the leading role of the Spectre, Jim Corrigan, and supporting cast members Alyssa Milano, Jeff Bennett, Rob Paulson, and John Polito. DC Showcase, Jonah Hex, featuring Jonah Hex, is included with Batman, Under the Red Hood. The short features the voice talents of Thomas Jane in the leading role of Jonah Hex and supporting cast members Linda Hamilton, Jason Marsden, Michael Rooker, and Michelle Trachtenberg. DC Showcase, Green Arrow, featuring Green Arrow, is included with Superman Batman, Apocalypse. The short features the voice talents of Neil McDonough in the leading role of Green Arrow and supporting cast members Malcolm McDowell as Merlin, Stephen Bloom as Count Vertigo, Grey DeLisle reprising her role as Black Canary from Batman, The Brave and the Bold, John DiMaggio, and Ariel Winter. Superman Shazam. The Return of Black Adam, featuring Superman and Captain Marvel, is included with the DC Showcase Original Shorts collection. A significant feature has George Newbern and Jerry O'Connell reprising their roles of Superman and Captain Marvel from Justice League Unlimited. The short also features the voice talents of Zach Corlison as Billy Batson, James Garner as Shazam, Kevin Michael Richardson as Mr. Talkie Tawney, Arnold Voulou as Black Adam, Josh Keaton, and Danica McCullough. The short is 22 minutes, giving it the longest runtime of any short in the series. DC Showcase, Catwoman, featuring Catwoman, is included with Batman, Year One. The short features the voice talents of Eliza Dushku reprising her role as Catwoman, Liliana Mumi as Holly Robinson, and John DiMaggio as Rough Cut. The film also stars Kevin Michael Richardson, Cree Summer, and Tara Strong. The short was directed by Lauren Montgomery and written by Paul Dini. A special feature presentation was shown at the New York Comic Con. Unannounced projects. Beyond the list of announced projects, creators involved in various levels at DC Comics have brought up names of possible future projects such as a Flash movie. Bruce Timm has said that he would like to do Green Arrow animated movie, and DC's executive editor Dan DiDio has expressed interest in seeing the popular 2007-2008 Sign/Core War comic storyline adapted. Timm also expressed a desire to create a Batman film based on The Killing Joke. Actor Mark Hamill stated that he would be willing to reprise his DC Animated Universe role of the Joker for such a project. Jeff Johns revealed that Warner Bros. Wants to use unproduced screenplays as animated films. James Tucker talks about doing a Wonder Woman-centered Justice League movie and a Red Son animated film. Bruce Timm has said that there are no plans for an Aquaman film. Though in 2013 it was reported that an animated Aquaman movie is in the works. This was later revealed to be an adaptation of the Throne of Atlantis comic book. Timm has also expressed interest in an adaptation of Batman RIP in an interview at Comic-Con. Cancelled projects. The Teen Titans, The Judas Contract was planned as the third DC Universe animated original movie, to be released after Superman, Doomsday and Justice League, The New Frontier. It was announced in 2006 but later put on hold. This film was to be based on the Judas Contract story from 1984 featured in Tales of the Teen Titans number 42-44 on Teen Titans Annual number 3 by Marv Wolfman and George Parr copyright Res. Warner Brothers animation writer-producer Bruce Timm confirmed in April 2010 that there were no current plans to revive the project. With the slower sales of the Wonder Woman film, plans for a sequel were shelved, as well as a planned animated film based on the 2003 miniseries Batgirl, Year One. Sales performance. Sales figures below represent DVD sales and, when available, Blu-ray sales in the United States. International sales, digital sales, and rentals are not included. Blu-ray sales are not available for Superman, Doomsday, Justice League, The New Frontier, Batman, Gotham Knight, Wonder Woman, or Batman, Under the Red Hood. References. External links. DCUAOM, the official website for DC Universe animated movies, DCUAOM at World's Finest, DC Universe animated movies at BatmanYTB.com, DCUAOM at Legions of Gotham.